Hadīth 1. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Whoever obeys me, obeys Allah, and whoever disobeys me, disobeys Allah, and whoever obeys the ruler I appoint, obeys me, and whoever disobeys him, disobeys me. Hadīth 2. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Surely every one of you is a guardian and is responsible for his charges. The Imam, ruler, of the people is a guardian and is responsible for his subjects. A man is the guardian of his family, household, and is responsible for his subjects. A woman is the guardian of her husband's home and of his children and is responsible for them. And the slave of a man is a guardian of his master's property and is responsible for it. Surely, every one of you is a guardian and responsible for his charges. Hadīth 3. Narrated Muhammad bin Jubayr bin Mut'im, that while he was included in a delegation of Quraish staying with Muawiyah heard that Abdullāh bin Amr had said that there would be a king from Qahtan tribe, whereupon he became very angry. He stood up, and after glorifying and praising Allah as he deserved, said, To proceed, I have come to know that some of you men are narrating things which are neither in Allah's book, nor have been mentioned by Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Such people are the ignorant among you. Beware of such vain desires that mislead those who have them. I have heard Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, This matter, of the caliphate, will remain with the Quraish, and none will rebel against them but Allah will throw him down on his face, as long as they stick to the rules and regulations of the religion, Islam. Hadīth 4. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, This matter, caliphate, will remain with the Quraish, even if only 2 of them were still existing. Hadīth 5. Narrated Abdullāh, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Do not wish to be like anyone, except in 2 cases, 1, a man whom Allah has given wealth and he spends it righteously, 2, a man whom Allah has given wisdom, knowledge of the Quran and the Hadith, and he acts according to it and teaches it to others. Hadīth 6. Narrated Anas bin Malik, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, You should listen to and obey your ruler even if he was an Ethiopian, black, slave whose head looks like a raisin. Hadīth 7. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, If somebody sees his Muslim ruler doing something he disapproves of, he should be patient, for whoever becomes separate from the Muslim group even for a span and then dies, he will die as those who died in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance, as rebellious sinners. Hadīth 8. Narrated Abdullāh, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, A Muslim has to listen to and obey the order of his ruler, whether he likes it or not, as long as his orders involve a not one in disobedience to Allah, but if an act of disobedience to Allah is imposed, one should not listen to it or obey it. Hadīth 9. Narrated Ali, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, sent an army unit for some campaign, and appointed a man from the Ansar as its commander and ordered them, the soldiers, to obey him. During the campaign, he became angry with them and said, Didn't the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, order you to obey me? They said, Yes. He said, I order you to collect wood and make a fire and then throw yourselves into it. So they collected wood and made a fire, but when they were about to throw themselves into it, they started looking at each other, and some of them said, We followed the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, to escape from the fire. How should we enter it now? So while they were in that state, the fire extinguished and their commander's anger abated. The event was mentioned to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and he said, If they had entered it, the fire, they would never have come out of it, for obedience is required only in what is good. Hadīth 10. Narrated Abdur Rahman bin Samurah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, O Abdur Rahman, do not seek to be a ruler, for if you are given authority on your demand then you will be held responsible for it, but if you are given it without asking for it, then you will be helped, by Allah, in it. If you ever take an oath to do something and later on you find that something else is better, then you should expiate your oath and do what is better. Hadith 11. Narrated Abdurrahman bin Samurah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, O Abdurrahman bin Samurah, do not seek to be a ruler, for if you are given authority on your demand, you will be held responsible for it, but if you are given it without asking for it, then you will be helped, by Allah, in it. If you ever take an oath to do something and later on you find that something else is better, then do what is better and make expiation for your oath. Hadith 12. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, you people will be keen to have the authority of ruling, which will be a thing of regret for you on the day of resurrection. What an excellent wet nurse it is, yet what a bad weaning one it is. Hadith 13. Narrated Abu Musa, 2 men from my tribe and I entered upon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. One of the 2 men said to the Prophet, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, appoint me as a governor, and so did the second. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, we do not assign the authority of ruling to those who ask for it, nor to those who are keen to have it. Hadith 14. Narrated Ma'qil, I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, any man whom Allah has given the authority of ruling some people and he does not look after them in an honest manner, will never feel even the smell of paradise. Hadith 15. Narrated Ma'qil, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if any ruler having the authority to rule Muslim subjects dies while he is deceiving them, Allah will forbid paradise for him. Hadith 16. Narrated Tarif Abi Tamimah, I saw Safwan and Jundub and Safwan's companions when Jundub was advising. They said, did you hear something from Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him? Jundub said, I heard him saying, whoever does a good deed in order to show off, Allah will expose his intentions on the day of resurrection, before the people, and whoever puts the people into difficulties, Allah will put him into difficulties on the day of resurrection. The people said, to Jundub, advise us. He said, the first thing of the human body to purify is the abdomen, so he who can eat nothing but good food, halal and earned lawfully, should do so, and he who does as much as he can that nothing intervene between him and paradise by not shedding even a handful of blood, that is, murdering, should do so. Hadith 17. Narrated Anas bin Malik, while the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and I were coming out of the mosque, a man met us outside the gate. The man said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, when will be the hour? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him, what have you prepared for it? The man became afraid and ashamed and then said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, I haven't prepared for it much of fasts, prayers or charitable gifts, but I love Allah and His Apostle. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, you will be with the one whom you love. Hadith 18. Narrated Thabit al-Bunani, Anas bin Malik said to a woman of his family, do you know such and such a woman? She replied, yes. He said, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, passed by her while she was weeping over a grave, and he said to her, be afraid of Allah and be patient. The woman said, to the Prophet, go away from me, for you do not know my calamity. Anas added, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, left her and proceeded. A man passed by her and asked her, what has Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said to you? She replied, I did not recognize him. The man said, he was Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Anas added, so that woman came to the gate of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and she did not find a gatekeeper there, and she said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, by Allah, I did not recognize you. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, no doubt, patience is at the first stroke of a calamity. Hadith 19. Narrated on us, Qais bin Sa'd was to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, like a chief police officer to an Amir, chief. Hadith 20. Narrated Abu Musa, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, sent him and sent Mu'ad after him, as rulers to Yemen. Hadith 21. Narrated Abu Musa, a man embraced Islam and then reverted back to Judaism. Mu'ad bin Jabal came and saw the man with Abu Musa. Mu'ad asked, "What is wrong with this man?" Abu Musa replied, "He embraced Islam and then reverted back to Judaism." Mu'ad said, "I will not sit down unless you kill him, as it is the verdict of Allah and His Apostle." Hadith 22. Narrated Abdurrahman bin Abi Bakra, Abu Bakra wrote to his son who was in Sijistan, "Do not judge between two persons when you are angry, for I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, a judge should not judge between two persons while he is in an angry mood." Hadith 23. Narrated Abu Mas'ud al-Ansari, a man came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, "O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. By Allah, I fail to attend the morning congregational prayer because so-and-so, that is, Mu'ad bin Jabal, prolongs the prayer when he leads us for it." I had never seen the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, more furious in giving advice than he was on that day. He then said, "O people! Some of you make others dislike good deeds, that is, prayers etc. So whoever among you leads the people in prayer, he should shorten it, because among them there are the old, the weak and the busy, needy having some jobs to do." Hadith 24. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar, that he had divorced his wife during her menses. Umar mentioned that to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Allah's Apostle became angry and said, he must take her back, his wife, and keep her with him till she becomes clean from her menses, and then to wait till she gets her next period and becomes clean again from it, and only then if he wants to divorce her, he may do so. Hadith 25. Narrated Aisha, Hind bint Utbah bin Rabi'ah came and said, "O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. By Allah, there was no family on the surface of the earth I liked to see in degradation more than I did your family, but today there is no family on the surface of the earth whom I like to see honored more than yours." Hind added, "Abu Sufyan is a miser. Is it sinful of me to feed our children from his property?" The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "There is no blame on you if you feed them, thereof, in a just and reasonable manner." Hadith 26. Narrated Anas bin Malik, when the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, intended to write to the Byzantines, the people said, "They do not read a letter unless it is sealed, stamped." Therefore the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, took a silver ring, as if I am looking at its glitter now, and its engraving was, Muhammad, Apostle of Allah. Hadith 27. Narrated Abdullāh bin As-Sa'di, that when he went to Umar during his caliphate, Umar said to him, "Haven't I been told that you do certain jobs for the people but when you are given payment you refuse to take it?" Abdullah added, "I said, yes." Umar said, "Why do you do so?" I said, "I have horses and slaves and I am living in prosperity and I wish that my payment should be kept as a charitable gift for the Muslims." Umar said, "Do not do so, for I intended to do the same as you do. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to give me gifts and I used to say to him, give it to a more needy one than me. Once he gave me some money and I said, give it to a more needy person than me, whereupon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, take it and keep it in your possession and then give it in charity. Take whatever comes to you of this money if you are not keen to have it and not asking for it, otherwise, that is, if it does not come to you, do not seek to have it yourself." Hadith 28. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, I have heard Umar saying, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to give me some money, grant, and I would say, to him, give it to a more needy one than me. Once he gave me some money and I said, give it to a more needy one than me. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, to me, take it and keep it in your possession and then give it in charity. Take whatever comes to you of this money while you are not keen to have it and not asking for it, take it, but you should not seek to have what you are not given. Hadīth 29. Narrated Sahal bin Sa'd, I witnessed a husband and a wife who were involved in a case of li'an. Then, the judgment of divorce was passed. I was 15 years of age at that time. Hadīth 30. Narrated Sahal, the brother of Bani Sa'dah, a man from the Ansar came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, if a man finds another man sleeping with his wife, should he kill him? That man and his wife then did li'an in the mosque while I was present. Hadīth 31. Narrated Abu Hurairah, a man came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, while he was in the mosque, and called him, saying, O Allah's Apostle! I have committed illegal sexual intercourse. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, turned his face to the other side, but when the man gave 4 witnesses against himself, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, are you mad? The man said, no. So the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, to his companions, take him away and stone him to death. Hadīth 32. Continued from above, narrated Jabir bin Abdullāh, I was one of those who stoned him at the Musalla in Al-Madinah. Hadīth 33. Narrated Salama, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I am only a human being, and you people, opponents, come to me with your cases, and it may be that one of you can present his case eloquently in a more convincing way than the other, and I give my verdict according to what I hear. So if ever I judge, by error, and give the right of a brother to his other brother, then he, the latter, should not take it, for I am giving him only a piece of fire. Hadīth 34. Narrated Abu Qatada, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said on the day of the battle of Hunayn, whoever has killed an infidel and has a proof or a witness for it, then the sulb, arms and belongings of that deceased, will be for him. I stood up to seek a witness to testify that I had killed an infidel, but I could not find any witness and then sat down. Then I thought that I should mention the case to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and when I did so, a man from those who were sitting with him said, the arms of the killed person he has mentioned are with me, so please satisfy him on my behalf. Abu Bakr said, no, he will not give the arms to a bird of Quraish and deprive one of Allah's lions of it who fights for the cause of Allah and his apostle. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, stood up and gave it to me, and I bought a garden with its price, and that was my first property which I owned through the war booty. The people of Hijaz said, a judge should not pass a judgment according to his knowledge, whether he was a witness at the time he was the judge or before that. And if a litigant gives a confession in favor of his opponent in the court, in the opinion of some scholars, the judge should not pass a judgment against him till the latter calls 2 witnesses to witness his confession. And some people of Iraq said, a judge can pass a judgment according to what he hears or witnesses, the litigant's confession, in the court itself, but if the confession takes place outside the court, he should not pass the judgment unless 2 witnesses witness the confession. Some of them said, a judge can pass a judgment depending on his knowledge of the case as he is trustworthy, and that a witness is required just to reveal the truth. The judge's knowledge is more than the witness. Some said, a judge can judge according to his knowledge only in cases involving property, but in other cases he cannot. Al-Qasim said, a judge ought not to pass a judgment depending on his knowledge if other people do not know what he knows, although his knowledge is more than the witness of somebody else, because he might expose himself to suspicion by the Muslims and cause the Muslims to have unreasonable doubt. Hadīth 35. Narrated Ali bin Husayn, Safiyyah bint, daughter of Huyai came to the Prophet, in the mosque, and when she returned home, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, accompanied her. It happened that 2 men from the Ansar passed by them and the Prophet called them saying, "She is Safiyyah." Those 2 men said, "Subhanallah." The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Satan circulates in the human body as blood does." Hadīth 36. Narrated Abu Burda, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, sent my father and Mu'adh bin Jabal to Yemen and said, to them, "Make things easy for the people and do not put hurdles in their way, and give them glad tidings, and don't let them have aversion, that is, to make people to hate good deeds, and you both should work in cooperation and mutual understanding." Abu Musa said to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, "In our country a special alcoholic drink called al-bit is prepared, for drinking." The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Every intoxicant is prohibited." Hadīth 37. Narrated Abu Musa, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Set free the captives and accept invitations." Hadīth 38. Narrated Abu Humayd as-Sa'idi, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, appointed a man from the tribe of Bani Asad, called Ibn al-Utabiyyah to collect the zakat. When he returned, with the money, he said, to the Prophet, "This is for you and this has been given to me as a gift." The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, stood up on the pulpit. Sufyan said he ascended the pulpit, and after glorifying and praising Allah, he said, "What is wrong with the employee whom we send, to collect zakat from the public, that he returns to say, 'This is for you and that is for me'? Why didn't he stay at his father's and mother's house to see whether he will be given gifts or not? By him in whose hand my life is, whoever takes anything illegally will bring it on the day of resurrection by carrying it over his neck. If it is a camel, it will be grunting, if it is a cow, it will be mooing, and if it is a sheep, it will be bleating." The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, then raised both his hands till we saw the whiteness of his armpits, and he said, "No doubt. Haven't I conveyed Allah's message?" And he repeated it 3 times. Hadīth 39. Narrated Ibn Umar, Salim, the freed slave of Abu Hudayfa, used to lead in prayer the early Muhajireen, emigrants, and the companions of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, in the Quba Mosque. Among those, who used to pray behind him, were Abu Bakr, Umar, Abu Salamah, and Amir bin Rabi'ah. Hadīth 40. Narrated Urwa bin az-Zubayr, Marwan bin al-Hakam and al-Miswar bin Makramah told him that when the Muslims were permitted to set free the captives of Hawazin, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "I do not know who amongst you has agreed to it, and who has not. Go back so that your Urafa may submit your decision to us." So the people returned and their Urafa talked to them and then came back to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and told him that the people had given their consent happily and permitted their captives to be freed.